The Deluxe cooking blender is something that I've been fascinated with for a long time, and it took me a while to actually invest in one. So what kind of put me over the edge was when I was like in my 30s, you start having like different little weird health things pop up. Maybe nothing crazy, but it just kind of dawned on me, okay, the first line of defense here is to make sure we get in our veggies and fruits every day. And like reality is, most of us probably don't do that most of the time. I mean, I don't know about you, but do you really get in 5 fruits and veggies every day?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It's like you can't eat the volume of the nutrients
Exactly.
that you actually need.
Yeah, because to get in, yeah, you'd have to sit and eat like an entire gallon bowl of kale, and it just, you know,
Yeah.
honestly, the reality, it just, we're busy, and a lot of us have good intentions. We want to eat well, but
Yeah.
getting in those 5 fruits and veggies. So I went back to what I knew about a high-powered blender, because you can take your probably 3 to 5 servings of veggies, get them all in a smoothie. But what makes the high-powered blender magical is that you can get those all in there, and it will basically, a high-powered blender will basically like atomize the ingredients to like this silky smooth liquid. So you can get in like even broccoli or kale or cauliflower, and then you mix like a banana with it. That'll give it a real sweeter, creamy flavor, and then some frozen fruit. So right there, that's 3 of your veggies and fruits a day, and then it's way less overwhelming to just make sure you have one with dinner. So that was kind of my bottom line, what really pushed me over the edge to invest in a high-powered blender. So that was like 10, 11, 12 years ago, and I've been using it every day since then. Like every morning I make my smoothie. So at least if nothing else, I mean, there's no cure-all for everything, but at least if you're getting in your veggies and fruits, that's kind of like your baseline, you know, like keeping your oil changed in your car. So that's
that's a good analogy.
yeah. So that's kind of like why I just never get away from it. I always have my 3 to 5 fruits and veggies. So then down the road, Pampered Chef, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but they started coming out with electrics, and Pampered Chef came out with their own high-powered blender, and theirs can do even more than my original one could that I already love, but I, of course, had to have the Pampered Chef one. So I just instantly fell in love with this from day one, and I kind of want to describe to you what it can do. So I fell in love with it so much, like it's hard to even remember everything it can do. So I've even made a lot of notes and done a lot of classes over the years, like taking them and giving them. So just real quick, the Deluxe cooking blender. So this is the #1 tool for clean eating that I couldn't live without. So I literally use this 3 to 4 times a day sometimes. So basically it can do things that nothing else can. So it's capable of 2 horsepower. So that lets you make your smoothies that are completely silky smooth with no grittiness, like from the kale or veggies, where you can actually like trick yourself or your kids into eating more veggies with that. And this is the tool that I recommend the most for people that are concerned about your ingredients. So are you an ingredient label reader when you're at the store? Are you actually like going over what's in there? Because the manufacturers will sneak in all kinds of nasty things, and it's good to be conscious of that. So this is something, if you like to have control over that, you can make your own staples at home like really easily. So it does, the power that it has lets you do things that a regular blender couldn't. So picture like making your own raw nut butters, like from peanuts or almonds or cashews. And then there's different settings. So it's like a smart machine. So you can actually use a different setting, like a sauce setting, to make a delicate sauce where it would normally take you standing over the stove with a thermometer. This blender knows how to get it to the exact temperature. It'll stop, and then if you need to add like an additional dairy, it'll tell you, and then it'll finish cooking without scorching. So you can just hit, it's a preset setting and you don't even have to think about it. And then there's a soup setting. You can throw raw ingredients in here and just like your broth, say you're doing sweet potato soup, onion, garlic, hit soup, and like 35 minutes later you have this silky, smooth, gourmet, nutritious soup. And that's not even all it's capable of. So there's another setting that makes your own fruit jams. So you can take your own fresh fruit and your pectin, put it in, hit start. It knows how to get it to the right temperature so you don't have to stand over the stove. And then you add in your sugar at the end, and it knows exactly how to not scorch it, and it finishes it. And that's all, like all you did was throw in the ingredients, and it did everything else. And then if you ever end up having to be dairy-free, there's a lot of the dairy-free cashew sauces or like cheese sauces that aren't actually cheese that you can make in here that you wouldn't be able to do with anything else, or it would take a lot longer. So the cashews are a big thing. Like it will let you make a nutritional yeast where you can get like a pretty close replica of a cheese sauce with no dairy. And then you can also do things like an ice cream with frozen bananas if you have a craving for ice cream. And then there's a setting you can do with the sauce where you make your own hot cocoa, so it like gets it perfectly hot, perfectly frothy, and the flavor's just to die for. You're adding your own chocolate and a little bit of sweetener. And then, homemade hummus. Like if you like to buy those containers of hummus, they get really pricey. So you can get bulk garbanzo beans and make your own hummus with the grind setting, and it gets like this silky smooth texture. And then you can customize your hummus, like cilantro jalapeno hummus or chipotle pepper. And then, so the ability to make your own staples like these is just what'll take you to the next level on your clean eating journey. And, I almost forgot to mention, so a lot of times when you have a fancy kitchen appliance that can do a lot of things, it's a pain to clean. So this, all you do is put 3 cups of water and 1 drop of dish soap and hit heated wash, and it sanitizes it and cleans it for you. So you don't have to do like much of anything with cleaning. So that's why it makes it more practical for you as far as like eating better. The reality is we all need to eat better, but the reality is most of us don't have the time to sit and prep stuff all day, but that's where this blender comes in and why I'm in love with it. So I want to tell you about a couple things that I love making in it. So anytime you get one of our electrics, it'll come with a handy cooking guide, and this just really helps you because it'll give you example recipes for each setting. And let me just run through the settings real quick that this can do. So there's a smoothie setting, so we talked about that. You just throw in your ingredients, hit smoothie. And just a little side note, if you have an extra large smoothie, you might need to run that twice. So I've kind of learned that. And alternative milk setting, I'm going to talk about that. I just did an experiment with that. And then the grind setting is the most powerful one. That's where we're doing our nut butters, or you can even grind your own coffee in here, or if you want to get into really fresh homemade bread, you can grind your own wheat berries and make your own flour. And that sounds like something like only people that are homesteaders that have tons of time, but this will let you do it in a minute. And then that's soup setting, where you just put in your soup ingredients, hit start. And then heated puree, so that can be some sauces to kind of up level your cooking. So there's like a hidden veggie marinara sauce, or like if you're doing a pork and you want to do like a sweet potato puree, you just throw all those ingredients in there and let it do it for you. And then the sauce setting, that's the one that's really, I think that's really magical, because you can do like those, like an ice cream base or a hollandaise sauce, or that hot cocoa where it gets frothy. And then that jam setting, it's an exclusive setting. You can make your own jam. And then custom blend, so it's like a normal blender too. So anything you need to do in a normal blender, you can. And then what's really cool about this one, say you have something that you made that's hot, say for like example, the hot cocoa, you can set it to where it keeps it warm for you. So it's smart, like it keeps it at a certain temperature. And I love anything that frees up some mental space. You don't have to like think about keeping something at the right temperature. So for example, one of the settings, I'm so excited I just tried this experiment. So I don't know if you like to get the alternative milks, like the almond milk. Sometimes, I don't know if you've heard so much, but dairy can be a little hard on your stomach, or for some people. So I like to kind of mix it up and use the alternative milks in my smoothies. So I've been buying it, and it's pretty pricey, like the almond milks, cashew milks, or the coconut milk. So I've been putting off trying this, but I knew I had to try it just to prove to myself. And I'm even more impressed than I thought. So I did a cashew milk. So what I did was I took, if you ever buy your nuts in bulk, I definitely recommend getting them in bulk. And I just did raw whole cashews. And what's cool is you only need a cup of the nuts to make a whole batch of the milk. So I took 1 cup of whole raw cashews, soaked them in I soaked them in 2 cups of water for 4 hours just to prep them. And then you drain and rinse them. And then you just take your blender pitcher and you add those drained nuts and then 5 cups of water. And then if you want, it's optional. You can add a little sweetener like honey or agave, little vanilla, and just the tiniest bit of salt, like 1/8 teaspoon. And then there's the button, the alternative milk button. So you just turn the dial to alternative milk, hit start, and it runs and processes it for like 5 minutes. And then it's totally hands off. And then when that cycle's done, I recommend taking our pitcher, the quick stir pitcher, because this won't have that extra ingredient that is it homogenizing where it keeps things stable. You'll have to stir it every time. You know, like homemade peanut butter, you have to stir it every time. And that's a good thing, to not have extra ingredients you don't need. So what I did was I took, where did I set it? There's a straining bag that comes with the blender. It's a fine mesh straining bag, and I just use this, but it's like real fine mesh. So what I did was I took this, held it over my pitcher, and then poured it in there, and then you just twist it and strain it out. And it's this rich, creamy, homemade cashew milk. And I just tasted it. It's like so, I couldn't believe how rich it was. I didn't know if it'd be a little watery. But I mean, it even gives you that satisfaction of being like a milk drink. So I'm going to be doing this from now on, save some money. And then you just keep this in the refrigerator. And you can stir it and mix it up every time if it separates a little on you. So I'm so excited about that. I hadn't tried that yet. And then...
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a whole nother epiphany. And then the other things, I mean, you can do other kinds of alternative milks. The oat milk, you know, like in cafes, they're using oat milk a lot. Rice milk, coconut milk. And then you can start experimenting with different flavors. So I think,
and a lot of people do almond milk, but then there's the oxalate factor.
yeah. So I'm actually...
Cashew is a really good medium.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of getting away from almonds for that reason. I feel like they're too high in oxalates. But that's why I'm going with the cashew milk. And yeah, and the almond milk and coconut milk. I've been going back and forth. So the different settings we talked about, like for example, the soup setting, that takes about 35 minutes, jams about 35 minutes. And obviously for our demo here, we won't make you wait for all that. I have little video clips that I can show you guys if you want to see any of those. And I'll send more information about the blender too. But one of the favorite settings that really shows off the power of this is the grind setting. And so I'm going to show how quick it is to make our own nut butter here. So I'm just taking my guide, and you go to the grind setting and it'll give you little sample recipes. Say you want to make, you can do cashew butter, peanut butter, sunflower seed butter. You know how expensive those are if you go to Fresh Thyme or something. Super seed butter, and that's where it gets really fun. You can customize. So you can take your nuts, or like if you have something like the flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, you can incorporate that. It's just another way to sneak in more nutrition for yourself. And then if you want to get really fun, you can flavor it like with cinnamon or cocoa. So I'm going to do, I've had good luck with just honey roasted peanuts because it kind of has the built-in flavor. So I'm going to start with peanut butter. It's one of the most simple ones. So all this is 3 cups of roasted peanuts. It has a little chart here for each kind of nuts. So all I'm gonna do is take my blender pitcher and then add in 3 cups of the nuts. I almost want to say this container is the perfect amount.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
And this is like your own custom blend. Yeah, it's really close. You have a little extra, but one container like that is really close to your 3 cups. Honestly, let's just have like 2 spoons left. I'm just gonna use it all.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Because there's no ratios with this. Some of the other nuts you do need to add just a little neutral oil, but the peanuts supposedly have enough oil in them to get it to mix well. And this, I'm gonna run this, it's gonna run for about 2 minutes. And it might sound kind of loud and violent for you. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. But the other thing you want to have handy, there's a tamper. And I know that sounds like, oh, you can't put that on the blades. There's a hole in the lid, and that lets you tamp down without worrying about hitting the blades. It's designed that way. And then the blender has safety features, like it won't go if the lid's not on, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to dial over. I'm just double checking my guide. It just tells you the steps and then in order. So you just add the ingredients in order, lock the lid, and then turn the wheel to grind setting. And then we're just gonna hit start. And then when the nuts start climbing up the walls of the pitcher, I'm gonna use the tamper. So you'll see me doing that. And then we'll wait for it to finish the cycle. So 2 minutes this will run for if you wanna watch. And there's still time left, but I think it's done, actually. And I don't know how much you can tell from over there, but there is a lot of power going on here. This peaks out at 2 horsepower, so this is something that could never happen in a normal blender. Like, it would fry out in just seconds. So that's just, you really appreciate it, like a tool that lets you do something that you couldn't do before.
Right.
That's what I love. So let me show you this. Smooth, creamy peanut butter. Like, my taste buds are getting, you can kind of tell just how silky it's looking. So I found that if you take our little leak-proof glass containers, they end up being the perfect size for this. Okay, so so let's take a look at this. And I found that this spatula, the spreader, is the best for digging this out of here. And it actually gets warm in there. There's so much friction going on that you'll notice this is warm to start with. But that's what's cool too. The blender, like we were talking about, there's a ton of power going on to where it can get like overheated, but this blender knows if it starts to get overheated, it'll shut down, and it's designed to do that, so you don't have to stress about it. If it gets too hot, it will shut down. And if you do this, you'll realize like how much power is going into that. It's like full throttle, which is pretty cool to have something that can do that. And then if you're really thinking ahead, you can leave that peanut butter in there and make yourself a vanilla milkshake with peanut butter next step without cleaning it out. Let's give this, so look at, and it'll firm up, like it's really warm right now, but like, look at that. Give it a little,
looks amazing.
Yeah, give it a little taste test.
Now, do you put any salt or anything in that, like a speck of salt?
So this time I didn't, just because those honey roasted peanuts I used, they have a bunch of flavorings on them, but I would, for sure. If you're just using your raw peanuts.
Like if you used raw.
Exactly, And they do,
cashews.
I'm wanting to say it matters, raw or roasted nuts. You do want the roasted ones because you need a little bit of that oil from roasting to get in there to help it blend. So if your nuts are raw, you're going to want to roast them before you make your nut butter. So I'm just looking at all the nut examples, cashew, almond. It does say to roast them first. So that's just something that you can have a lot of fun playing with. And the homemade peanut butter, there's just, like, once you try the homemade things, it's just incredible. You can actually, so with this machine, you can technically make your own peanut butter and jelly, which is pretty cool. So I know we talked about a lot, and so just, some observations about it. This is a heavy duty blender, and this is not, if all you need to do is make your smoothies, I would just get a little blender that's not, this is for your power users, somebody that wants to be able to do the heated soups and the real powerful grinding. So this is like it is a heavy duty tool, and it's an investment piece. And the way my experience with it was when I invested in the blender 12 years ago, I hesitated. I mean, it's a fairly decent investment, but what happened with me is I just never looked back. I mean, once you use something several times a day for 10 years, you just don't look back. And there is, if you want more information, I can send you more details on this. And there is some benefits. If you do end up just wanting to invest in this blender, you can get some bonuses, which are really cool. So like this month, it would actually be considered an event or a hosted event where you get benefits if you spend more than $200, which the blender is $3.99 retail. So you would get a 60% off item, you would get a half price item, and you would get some free goodies in there too. And then I would give you the support of the tutorials that I make. So I feel like you would have all the support you need. And what I'm really curious is, I know that was a lot of info, so what questions do you have, or what was your favorite part?
Well, at that thing, it's amazing how it does all the heated processes, but I do like frozen smoothies or frozen drinks, and it's equally as efficient for those. I mean, if you do something iced like a daiquiri or a margarita, it just makes it silky.
Oh, I can picture that when you're talking about it like that. Instead of the gritty ice, it's like the silky.
Yeah, they're just delightful. I mean, it's just, You know, it's just kind of a showstopper every time you do them.
Almost makes you think of more like a sorbet. I've actually reminded
that's
myself I
true.
have done that. I've done like a raspberry sorbet in here.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like a little gourmet treat.
Yeah, like do a lemonade or limeade and strawberry, like sorbet or raspberry would
Yeah.
be really good. But also, and I know I've mentioned this a couple times before, I thought that blender became a powerful tool in my kitchen, but then when they came out with the little
Oh,
smoothie
yes.
adapter, I mean that just made it a powerhouse.
I'm glad you said that because I should show that real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. It just opened up a whole nother venue for, and also, you know, it's a heavier piece, it's a workhorse, and there's just times when you don't need that big massive
Yeah, the big pitcher.
volume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this. This is
right.
glass. I mean, it has to be because you're cooking. Like
Oh
those
yeah,
jams get up to 212 degrees. But I'm so glad you said that about the smoothie attachment. So
yeah,
going back to like using it daily and you know, if we're doing our cooking recipes, but if all you're doing is your smoothie, you might not need that big pitcher. Well, down the road, they came out with an attachment, an adapter, where you put this little base on, and then this is really cool. You throw your smoothie ingredients in the smoothie cup, put your lid on, and then it's a little different where you flip it upside down and then blend it. Blend your smoothie in here, and there's a real handy little smoothie guide that comes with it. Like the smoothies are all about your ratios, liquids to frozen things to raw fruits and veggies. And then you can take your lid, blending lid off, and then put your Go Cup lid on it, and then it comes with a handy little straw. So then you're ready to go, and like you didn't even have to pour it into a cup. You're all ready to go.
exactly.
So as far as like getting in all your clean ingredients and being on the go, this is what'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And
And
then
and also I used to have one of the little bullets in my house,
yeah,
I just got rid of that because that bought you two appliances in one
yeah.
with that adapter on it.
It's like the little mini version and you don't have to
Yeah.
compromise. And it even comes with this little straining cup to measure your fruits and veggies in here. Just when you're on the go in a hurry, there's like your little measure lines in there, and then it's straining.
Oh, I
if
didn't
you want
realize
to,
that's what that was.
yeah. So say you need a cup of strawberries, you put them in here and rinse them and
Yeah.
strain them. So yeah,
Oh.
they really did think of everything with this. Because I know sometimes it's either practical or you do your cooking from scratch and spend all day in the kitchen, and this is a compromise. So yeah, oh, and there's a couple little, I've experimented a lot with it, and I just wanted to tell you a couple favorite little recipes I've done with it. There's a recipe I'll have to share with you called cottage cheese queso. So we've all been hearing how good it is to get in your protein, and cottage cheese is such a good way to do that. So speaking of like cheese dips, it's blended on the sauce setting, and it uses cottage cheese and milk, and then and actually our little jalapeno seasoning, creamy jalapeno, and you use the sauce setting, and it makes this cottage cheese queso that's incredible. It's like your Mexican restaurant you're talking about, nacho cheese dip. So that's been a favorite recipe. And then I tried this recipe on the sweet side for white chocolate sauce. Oh my gosh, you use a sauce setting, and it's almost more of like a custard. So you take like your brownies, and then you dip it in this white chocolate sauce that the blender makes for you. And it even has like little, like I said, it's almost more like a custard. It has a little egg in it, and it just makes your eyes roll back in your head. It's so good. So just any of these.
Isn't the cheese sauce the one you made at my party last week?
Yeah, that's what
I
we just
thought.
did.
Everybody loved that.
So I can share any of these recipes, just let me know. And then just another little random tip, if you have your blender pitcher clean, obviously, I discovered this. You can take, say you need some grated Parmesan and you have a block of Parmesan. I always buy it in a block to save money and make it fresher. you can make it into little chunks, throw blocks of Parmesan in the blender and pulse it a few times, and you'll end up with like that shaker cheese.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a total shortcut instead of grating, you know, a whole block by hand. So it can do a lot of cool things. So yeah, I'll end up running the cleaning setting on that, and I'll email you the specials and the recipe. But yeah, so what's been your favorite thing you made in it? Because I know you already have this.
Well, I actually love making some of the frozen drinks. And another thing I do in it is when I do coleslaw, I like it fresh. I don't like to buy the ready-made slaw. And so I fill it about 2/3 with real cold water. And I chunk up my cabbage and onion and carrot. And I just like pulse it, like instantaneous pulses, and then throw it in a strainer. And you have this beautiful, like small.
That makes me think of the KFC style coleslaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's kind of like.
Oh,
and you can even do little bits of the red cabbage in it if you want the color. I do the red onion, the carrots. But it's absolutely my favorite slaw ever.
Yeah, that's a really good creative idea.
Yeah, when you do, like in the winter, when you do like vegetable soup, you always get the mixed vegetables that are frozen and they're cut up. But I always love to add like the cabbage to soup or onion. And I do the same thing. I just do that. I zap up the cabbage in there. And then you can actually use the water for the stock in your soup. Because that incorporates all the vitamins from and the juices from your slaw, which is almost like an instant broth.
I didn't even think about that because you have to remember, don't throw that away.
Right.
Yeah,
and the same thing, like if you're making stuffing around Thanksgiving, I just zap up the celery and onion in there. And then I reserve the juice to cook down for the liquid.
Oh, that would even add extra flavor, I bet. Wow.
Well, but also it's a lot of nutrient that you would be dumping away in the water.
Well, yeah, that's brilliant.
And it's just so time saving because when you're doing a holiday meal, you could just chop for hours.
Oh yeah, well, especially the little fine dices like you're talking about.
And I feel like it enhances the flavor when you're incorporating all those juices from the onion and the celery. Or even parsnip. You can put some parsnip in it.
Oh, we might have to we're gonna have to do a whole nother Thanksgiving tips.
Yeah, we could. Some shortcuts.
So yeah, I'll let you get on with your night. But just real quick, I wanted to share there is, if you do happen to need any kitchen tools, there's some really fun sale in July. There's the Cool and Serves. I love these for the summer. There's 2 of these Cool and Serve containers that are on sale. So this one is the 1 quart. I love this for dips. That's on sale for $24.65 right now. So you take your little freezer insert, put it in the bottom, and then put your dip in here, and that's all ready to go. And then there's another one, the 2.5 quart, that's on sale, like if you need to keep your potato salads or salads cold. And then our little scrapers are on sale this month. So this one's my favorite, little mix and scraper. And then actually that jalapeno seasoning we talked about, like using in the nacho cheese sauce, is on sale. And you can use this for a lot of things. You can even just do like your basic, mix it with mayo and sour cream, and it even tells you that on there.
Yeah, make it crema.
Yeah, add a little pizzazz to your Mexican nights. And then obviously this isn't the one for sale, but our pizza stone is on sale. So I'm showing the one that I've been using for 20 plus years. So this is what they will look like if you use and love them. But if you want to get your own pizza stone to season and love, it's on sale. And the new one has handles, you'll see. So the classic...
That is a nice enhancement.
Yeah, the classic pizza stone's on sale. And my favorite thing about the stone is that how forgiving they are. That when you bake things on it, you don't have to worry about it scorching. It's just very gently browning. So yeah, I'll let you get on with your night. Thanks for popping in here.
Yeah.